Hey everyone, this is Scrap and Peter here. Today we're going to be covering 8 tips you can use to remain useful when behind in League of Legends. Now we've all been in this scenario, we've all been at the point where we went 0-5 in the laning phase. Regardless if you're a professional or unranked, it just doesn't matter. Everyone's had this scenario. We've all been at the point where we're just having trouble helping the team out in any way, or feeling quite useless, or just in a behind condition and feel like they can't carry. These are the tips you can employ to make sure you're remaining as useful as you possibly can be and not pushing yourself out to such a disadvantage you lose the game. Let's get right into it. Number 1, stop fighting. First and foremost, do not fight. Do not put yourself in a scenario that involves fighting. Don't go deep. Don't posture in front of your enemy. In other words, don't stand in front of them and even be close enough for a duel. Play like you're made of glass. One hit and you'll die. This one is simple, but I've seen so many players who just can't resist coming close enough and can't take the insult of Fiora free farming. Or they get close enough that the Fiora can poke them down. These will grind you down and you will die eventually. Additionally, don't try to poke unless it's free. This means that a lot of people are getting close. If you're close enough to poke, you're close enough to get hit, which means they can all in you. Even if you've got next level range like Lux or Xerath, do not use max range abilities to poke them. Use this range to CS, to get gold and remain experienced to get in the game, to keep yourself in there. Don't chip ahead an enemy who is like about 7 kills up, because they can 100 to 0 even if you land 3 or 4 Qs in Xerath. Getting that gold though, which means it'll go on to the mid to late game, is a lot better. Now if they stick their head out and can be hit by a full combo, do go for it, and it depends on your range and your scenario, but for the most part just try and keep within long range. Let them push you under the turret, let them push you down so you're in a safe position to farm. That's all you have to do. Play passive and don't fight. Number 2, stall minions or the lane. The most common one early game during the laning phase, stall the minions just outside of your turret. Now this is a point many don't seem to be able to do. Here's a few tips for it. Now only just last hit the minions so it'll push towards you, but there's more to it than this. This means it will be in your side of the map towards safety, but from here, if it looks like there's too many minions and it's quickly snowballing towards your turret, under the turret, make sure you push it back. Kill a lot of the minions. Start shoving it when it looks like it's pushing too heavily. Because whenever the minions go into the turret, the wave resets, meaning that the turret will kill all of the stalled minions under and push it back to the middle of the lane, the default position. You do not want this. You do not want to be under the turret. You want to be just outside of it. This is a misconception. You want the minions just outside the turret. So just make sure to push it back so it's only slightly pushing in your direction. Or the front 3 minions get hit, for example. That's fine. That's a scenario you want to be in. Just make sure you're not pushing it too heavily back. It takes a bit of practice, but definitely is worth it. Number 3, keep lanes pushed. Coming on from my last point, once the laning phase is over and your enemy is roaming and running around the entire map, keep the lane pushed, shove them out heavily. After this, you want to leave it in a push condition. So after one wave before you go, kill the caster minions and leave the melee creeps, or kill all of the minions and leave a siege creep. And this means that they will build up and heavily push on your enemy's side. Now the reason why we do this is to force your enemy to have to clear the minions. So when you make a massive minion wave top lane, they're forced to come top lane. There's no choice in the matter, or the turret gets hit. So from here, you basically want to think about that. You want to push it out as quick as you can, leave it in a push condition, which means they're going to have to rotate up, which means you can go mid lane and start a fight 4v5, or go down and get dragon. But regardless, even if you don't get anything off it, you're forcing this fed member to go up and clear minions. You're forcing and controlling them. You know where they're going to go because you're forcing them to do it. It's a really important point. Keep every lane in a push condition. One of the most important points actually out of all of these. Number 4, zoned. If you're heavily zoned and waiting for your enemy to push the minions to your side of the map, you must either roam or farm for the jungle. Just ensure you're not stuck zoned for like over 60-70 seconds. If you find and you think you will be zoned for that amount of time, go for a roam and try and take plays if you can. Only if they're possible, don't force any though. Or just try and pick up the scuttle crab, or go and just pick up some jungle farm if it is possible. Just make sure you're not completely useless. Number 5, no ganks. Now it depends on the lane composition and some champions can get back into the game, but ask your jungler not to gank for you. If you do have a chance of coming back, and it depends on the champion, this is up to you, sure, go for it. But if your enemy is ahead and you think your jungler can be bursted down or you can be bursted down and the fight isn't 100% going your way, don't do it. It's safe to say they could double kill you, and then that's the game over. Once you're double killed with your jungler, that means it's pretty much GG. If your enemy's a good bit ahead, just ask your jungler to get another lane ahead, to get one of your lanes ahead, even further ahead if they already are, or get one of your lanes big or doing well. When behind, a gank will mean you're worth a little bit of gold, and it means you're getting even rather than ahead. It's a waste of the jungler's time. It's less effective of a carry getting the kill than you, basically. Do not ask for ganks, tell them to stay away and focus on someone else. Don't be selfish. Now this is really counterintuitive, and I know a lot of players are like, gank, I want to get back into the game. No, you want to get back into the game, but the top lane who got really far ahead is going to start carrying this for you, and the jungler got him there. Getting the 0-4 mid laner back into the game isn't really going to help. Or when you're top lane, for example, and you're playing like a Nautilus top, you're pretty much useless anyway, so don't go down. If you're really far behind in Riven 0-5, you're not going to carry the game for the team. There's no point in them getting you any kills. Don't be selfish and let the game move on. Number 6, build tanky or utility. Now my biggest point, if possible in your build, if you're top lane, support or jungle, go tanky. Being tanky is the best thing you can do when behind. A top lane Aurelia who's 0-5 and has went for 1 damage item at full tank mid game is still useful if she gets enough tank stats. A Lee Sin tank besides 1 item is still useful mid game and late game if he gets tanky. He can soak up damage, he can be the front line for a team, he is just there. He's very clunky, and rather than going for damage stats and being blown up in 10 seconds or 2 seconds, he's actually durable. And even if you're just an ability soak for your enemy, that still means you're useful. It means your backline isn't getting hit by this stuff. Continuing with your normal build only leaves you in a really bad spot. A full AD Lee Sin, for example, who went 0-6, isn't going to have enough stats to survive for a second, and additionally won't have enough burst to kill anyone anyway. Remember this, build tanky. I can't stress this enough. Even if your champion isn't necessarily meant to be built that way, if you're starting to fall behind big time, start building tanky. You'll remain useful and a bullet soak, and that's as helpful as you can be. It doesn't feel good, but it's gonna have to be that way. Number 7, avoid getting kills. Now a weird one. Avoid getting kills if you're not in a carry role, like a mid lane or AD carry. Once you get a kill, you reset your bounty score. So when you go past 0-1, you start becoming worth less and less gold. So if you're -4, you're not worth that much gold. -6, not worth pretty much anything. But once you get a kill, it resets your bounty count back to normal, which means that it's just like they're killing you over again for the first time. When behind, you can die again and again and again. Don't make your next again cost you a large amount of gold. Avoid getting kills, let other people carry you. Let them get the kills. You're already behind. Another kill would just put you at risk, because if you die again, you're worth a lot of gold. This is not something you want to do. So even if, for example, you get a gank, you probably shouldn't get one, but say you do get one and there is potential for a kill, back off last second and don't take it, because you're not worth any gold. A lot of people would argue this point, that say if you get the kill, you're back in the game. I would disagree. If the enemy's not far ahead, you barely can get the kill with a jungle gank, you're probably in a bad spot, and 1 kill isn't going to change that. Make sure you're letting others have it. Number 8, don't tilt. The most important thing you can do is use your head and not tilt. It's a very frustrating scenario. Every League of Legends player struggles with it. I struggle with it. You struggle with it. Professionals struggle with it. Everyone gets frustrated when they're being camped and they're really far behind and they don't feel like they can impact the game. But just make sure you're using your head. You're not getting too upset about it or too frustrated. Think about how you can be useful, how you can go around, how you can get back into the game. Think of actual legitimate solutions. Don't be sitting there getting angry or frustrated anyway. You'll just become a worse and worse player. You'll not be able to make any decisions, and the main reason why people continue to start losing score is because they're tilting. It's because they're annoyed, because they're angry. A calm, collected player will always at least do well. This is the reason why I pride myself being one thing in League of Legends, and that's consistent. The amount of times I've went really far behind in League is almost non-existent, because I use all of these strategies and remain very useful in the game, and I constantly am logically thinking and trying to be fluid and just coming up with scenarios or strategies we can do to get back into the game. And I'm not worrying about how bad my score looks or how far I'm behind. I rely on other people to carry me, and I think, how can I help them the most? How can I get that AD carry to win me this game? Don't try. I think tilt's it's a very selfish thing as well, because you think, I've got to carry the game. Sometimes you're not going to carry, and just trying to help other people carry can really change how the game runs, and it's just really helpful. So just keep patient and relax, and I assure you, you'll win more games. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope it is helpful. I've been meaning to do this video for a bit of time. It's a really useful one, and I really hope it helps. If you like it, dislike it, dislike it. If you like the content, you can subscribe. And I think it's horrible and total trash, you can unsub and totally fair. Beyond that, guys, have an absolutely great day. Best of luck on the Rift, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy.